Welcome to the introduction of the Human Contact Annotation tool. This video consists of 3 parts. First, I'll explain what should be annotated. Second, we'll have a look at how to do that. And at last, you will get to see a few examples. What should be annotated? In this task, workers are required to annotate 2 types of contact regions on the body. First, body regions, which are in contact with the specified object, such as the laptop and the phone in this image. Second, body regions that are supported by the scene, which we refer to as supporting contact. For example, in this image, the body is supported by the bench and the ground. Note that you can also annotate body contact regions that are not visible in the image but can be guessed confidently. For example, in this image, the back and the buttocks are not visible but are likely to be touching the bench. Same for the right toes, which are likely to touch the ground. Now we'll have a look at the tool and you will learn how to operate it. We can rotate the body by left clicking and dragging in the region outside the body. The body can be zoomed in and out using the mouse wheel. If we click and drag the right mouse button outside the body, we can move the body around. In order to start annotation, click on the Draw button. Click then on the body once to start the annotation. Notice that the selection mode changes to drawing. You can now hover over the appropriate regions to paint over the body. Click on the body again to stop the annotation. Notice that the status of the selection mode changes and is now inactive. If you make a mistake, you can deselect a region by using the Erase button. The Erase functionality works similar to the Draw functionality. Clicking on the body once causes the mouse to erase as you hover. Another click stops the erase. If you want to restart the annotation task, you can do so by clicking the Erase All button. This erases all the annotations. To start drawing again, you can switch back to the Draw mode by clicking on the Draw button. To annotate larger or smaller regions, you can use the brush size slider. At any point, if you want to reset the body to the initial view, you can click the Reset View button. Now we quickly summarize. To rotate the body, move your cursor away from the body, click left and drag. To zoom, use your mouse wheel. And to move the body, right-click outside the body and drag. In order to draw or erase, click the corresponding button. Move your cursor to the body and click left. Hover over the regions that you want to annotate and click left to finish the annotation. Remember to always pay attention to the selection mode. Now we'll show a few annotation examples. Let's start annotating this image. The first task is to annotate the human contact with the object laptop. It is advised to rotate the mesh such that it is facing the same direction as the person in the image. Then imagine yourself in the same posture as the person. From this view, it is easier to infer contact region. Furthermore, mixing up left and right body parts is avoided. Once you have identified the contact regions, rotate the body to a convenient view and start painting the annotation. Review your annotation by rotating the body around. When finished, click on the Next Contact button. The second task is to annotate the human contact with the object mobile phone. Here the contact is with the fingers. For fingers, it is advisable to use a smaller brush size. Again, rotate the mesh to a convenient view, zoom in, and start annotating the fingers. Click on the next contact when done. Lastly, we want to annotate the contact supporting the human. In this case, as we can see, the human body is supported by the bench and the ground. Let's start annotating those regions. If you make a mistake, you can use the erase button to correct them. Avoid spurious annotation trails on the body. Once you finish annotating a region, always click on the mesh to disable the drawing mode before moving on to the next region. From time to time, you might want to go to the initial view to reassure yourself that you are coloring the correct parts. Make sure to review your final annotation by rotating the mesh around. Whenever necessary, make small corrections using the erase function. Once satisfied, click Submit your answer. We now show how to annotate a more difficult image. Here, we annotate the human contact with the object couch. As always, we start by rotating the person such that it is facing the same direction as the person in the image. Then we analyze the pose. The right leg is lying flat on the couch. The left leg is crossed on top of the right foot. All the back and the hips are in contact with the couch. By looking closely, we see that the right arm is in contact with the couch up until the forearm. The left arm is even more challenging as it is not visible, but we can make an educated guess that it may be mimicking the right hand. Now we start drawing the contact regions. We first annotate the right leg. Then we move on to the left leg. Next, we switch to the hips and the back. From time to time, we rotate the mesh to see if the contact regions are being annotated correctly. We can fix small mistakes using the erase function. When we annotate the right arm, and the left arm. And again, we view the results from different sides in order to spot mistakes and correct them if there are any. Once satisfied, we can click the next contact. Finally, we want to annotate the supporting contact. However, in this image, the only supporting contact is with the couch, and we have already annotated the couch earlier. If there's no other supporting contact, such as from the ground, we can skip the annotation with the couch and click Submit directly. If you skip the annotation, in the next window, you must specify which already annotated object was supporting the person. In this case, we would select the couch. Lastly, pressing OK will submit the hit. Note that all remaining supporting contacts should still be annotated, even if you plan to skip an already annotated object using the drop-down option. For example, in this image, if you plan to skip the already annotated contact with the bench, you should still annotate the remaining supporting contact with the ground. In summary, what should you do if you cannot see the posture well? First, try to analyze the visible body parts and infer the posture. If this does not work, make an educated guess. But this guess should be based on the body parts that you can see, your knowledge of human poses, and your knowledge of how humans interact with the scene and objects.